So not so long ago on here, I was complaining that I was really missing like hearty cooked meals like gnocchi and rice and things. And one of my followers recommended that I buy a rice cooker. So I did, and I have loved it. It's been amazing. I've been able to even bake cakes in it. And it's just a $14 cheapie from Kmart. But at the time, I just bought that because I needed to just wanted to test out what the draw on it from my power would be like, because I have limited amount of battery. I've only got one lithium battery, so I have to be very conscious about how I use my power, because I use 240 for like my kettle and all my laptops and everything like that. So anyway, it's been really great. I've been using it for a few months now, and I've been able to manage that power usage quite good. So anyway, I did want to upgrade for a couple of reasons. So it is just a personal preference. Please don't come at me in the comments section. I don't like to cook with Teflon, like non-stick stuff, because me personally, I think that there are chemicals in there that can affect you when you heat them up. So if you want to look into it and do your own research, please feel free to do so. It's not medical advice. I'm not confirming or denying that it is a thing. Anyway, personal preference. So that was number one reason I wanted to upgrade. And the second reason was I just wanted a few more settings. So that rice cooker I got from Kmart, it only had like an on or keep warm or cook setting. So I have gone online and I've bought an InstantPot, which I think is like a pressure cooker. I'm really not entirely sure. I did do some research, but it is quite big, so I'm not quite sure where I'm going to store it yet. But let's have a look, shall we? And see exactly how big it is. Okay, so it's a 9-in-1 pressure cook, slow cook cake, sous vide, I don't know what that is, yogurt, sterilize, and more. Okay, let's have a look. So I think I think it did cost me, oh, I'll have to research it. I'll put a link below on what it cost me, but it was a Black Friday sale, so I thought, oh, it's a good chance to go and buy one in the sales. I think it was a couple of $100. It's quite heavy. Anyway, I do quite like the fact that it's a bit bigger, because I might even, so my George Foreman is also my little grill that I love to use. I use it every morning for my breakfast. That is also, has the Teflon non-stick stuff on it, so I may actually stop using that as well, if I can actually use this to sort of fry my bread in it. Okay, so that's the size of the pot. Sorry, there's some kids outside. They're walking around and just getting close with the music. My initial thoughts on this, as I've opened it, are that it's a lot heavier, obviously, than the little cheapie. It's a lot bulkier. The pot size itself, like the whole thing itself, is a lot bulkier, given the actual cooking surface is probably about the same. And I think, like, I would only be able to do one piece of bread at a time in that. So maybe I can't give away my George Foreman rice cooker just yet. Grill just yet. But anyway, let's give it a go and just see what sort of power draw it has, doing a similar meal that I would do in the cheapy Kmart rice cooker. So what I'm going to make now is the first meal I ever made in my rice cooker, which is kind of like a risotto, but it's not risotto rice. So I'm just going to cook the rice, pumpkin and chicken all in one go in the pressure cooker, because I'm all about, I just want to be able to whack it in there and create a meal. And the rice cooker's been awesome for that. And I don't know how it's going to go in the pressure cooker. The pressure cooker, it works differently. So I believe that once once it's heated up, it actually, that pressure and heat that's in there is what continues to cook it. It's not actually, like, it's not drawing as much power. That's what I think it is anyway. I don't know. So we're going to give that a go. I've just boiled the kettle first, because I do want to add some bok choy to it, but obviously with a pressure cooker you can't just take the lid off and add stuff to it when you want, because then you're releasing all that heat. So I'm just going to pop that in some hot water to give that a bit of a cook while I'm pressure cooking the rest of it, and then I can just mix it all together. I'm one of those people that loves to learn by doing things myself and seeing how it goes. I look up recipes and things and I just think, oh, I just can't be bothered. So I am doing I have researched how to use this pressure cooker, because I'm a little bit tentative, I have to say, about the idea of this thing holding so much pressure. I'm a little bit like, oh God, if that explodes in here. Anyway, I've looked at the safety measures for that. So anyway, I'm going to use the rice function on this. I'm going to put 1 cup of stock in there with the rice, and then I'm just going to whack the pumpkin and the chicken on top and just hope that all of that cooks in the same time frame. So as I say, I think there might just still be a little bit more liquid in there. I don't know anyway at the end, but we'll see. Okay, so we're going to put 1 cup of rice in. I'd love to use all of this bone broth, but I think I should probably only use 1 cup. Actually, I might just have a quick look online and see how much liquid I should put in for 1 cup of rice in a pressure cooker. Okay, so I just had a quick look online. It said 1.5 cups of liquid per cup for basmati rice. So that's what I'm going to do here. And we're going to whack in the pumpkin. And we want the pumpkin to cook quite well, so it's quite a little bit, it sort of turns to mush when we mix it all together. I'm just going to whack the tenderloins on top. I'm not going to cut them up, because I'm just going to hope that the chicken falls apart. Not everything's covered, but that's okay. I'm not sure I can fit more chicken in. I think I'll leave 4 pieces of chicken in there. So that's what it looks like in there. Alright, so we're just going to put the lid on now. Now, once you turn the pressure cooker on, you're not really supposed to move it, otherwise it will splatter everywhere. So we're just going to move it, because the steam will come out, so I'm just going to move it away from everything behind it. Okay, so we're going to go rice. Okay, so that's telling me it's going to be 12 minutes on low pressure. So this will be interesting. I've got to make sure that the seal is set to seal and it's not open. This thing beeps at you for everything, so that's preheating now. Then it'll go to cook and keep warm. So let's see. And I'm currently at 89% storage battery. It's now on cooking mode, and it's now to 77%, so it's used 12% of my battery to get to the cooking point. So I anticipate that my battery level won't drop as much now, and you can see there's a bit of, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, there's a bit of steam coming out of there now, and the little pin has risen out of the spot, which means that that pressure has pushed that pin up, so the pressure is being reached inside. So now we wait. Let's see. Okay, so it's stopped cooking now. It comes back to 0. And what it's doing now with the keep warm, I think it's slowly releasing the pressure again. I'm not entirely sure. I thought it was supposed to come up with an L though, and then it counts back the... Anyway, we'll see. But as expected, I've now gone up to 78% because my solar has started to recharge again. So it didn't draw any more power once it actually started heating up the pot. So that's amazing. If that's the case, and it has actually cooked everything through, it's using less power than my rice cooker. Yay! So it's been on keep warm for 15 minutes now, but the actual pin in the top has dropped. So you can see that that's now level with here. So it means that a lot of that pressure has now been released. What we're going to do is just release the little seal here, and that will release any pressure that's still in there. But I've just put a tea towel above my thing there, just so the steam doesn't, I don't think it's going to be much, but just, you know, I don't want it to ruin my map. All right, here we go. It does make a bit of a noise when you do it apparently, so let's go. Okay, good. Nothing else to come out because it's been on keep warm for a while. So let's check it out. Okay, time for the big reveal. Oh, it's looking good. Smells good. Okay, the pumpkin's cooked through, the rice is cooked through. Let's check the chicken. Oh, that looks good. Look at that. Oh, yummy. So I'm just going to mix that through a bit, let the pumpkin mash up and get through the meal as well. Oh, that chicken is just falling apart. Beautiful. I think that rice might be a bit too mushy, so maybe I left it on keep warm for too long, but that's all right. We live and learn. It's not too bad. So I'm just going to put my bok choy in there now. So I had left my bok choy in that hot water just to cook a little bit. There's some of my hair, which seems to get in everywhere. And we'll just mix that through. It's actually pak choy, sorry, not bok choy. I couldn't get any bok choy at the shops. We'll just pop that lid on and leave that to sit there for a minute and let that pak choy cook a little bit more in that heat. Wow, I'm quite excited to try this. I'm really excited that that's drawn less power than the rice cooker, and I'm able to cook with stainless steel. So let's dish some up and give it a go. And then I think my next thing I'm going to have to try and cook in it is I really want to try and make some scones. So I'm not sure how it'll go, but you know, we can try anything. Why not? Because I really hate waste, and I hate actually buying gluten-free bread all the time because it comes in plastic. So if I can make scones on my own sort of bread, then that would be amazing. So yeah, here's my food. It's my version of like a pumpkin risotto. Chicken tastes the same as in the rice cooker. I think the rice tastes a little bit, the texture's a little bit different. I think next time I wouldn't keep it on warm at the end because the rice does feel a little bit overcooked. But other than that, it's all cooked through. It's another hearty, healthy meal. It's taken less power, and I'm able to cook in a healthier pot for myself. Yeah, win, I reckon. So as most of you would know, I have eggy bread for breakfast every morning, and I usually cook it in my George Foreman grill, but the George Foreman grill does still have that non-stick coating in it, which I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to try and cook it in my stainless steel pressure cooker, and I'm going to use the saute button, so it's kind of like a shallow fry with the butter. So it'll be different. It won't have that crunch to the bread that I would normally have, but it'll be a bit more like French toast. So yeah, I had my power on 73% when I started. It's now heated up, so it's on. I put it set for 10 minutes, and we're at 69%. So I'm just going to whack some butter in here, and then I think I'll have to do one piece of bread at a time, because unfortunately, with the size of the InstantPot, it's not big enough to do both pieces. And even like I thought about cutting the bread into pieces, but it's still not going to fit, so that's okay. We're just going to do one at a time. So I'm just going to dip my bread in my egg, make sure the butter has moved around the top. Whack that in there. I'll put my nutmeg on top. You can see it in there now, just shallow frying in the butter. So there may be some differing opinions on here about whether this is still healthy for me, because I'm actually shallow frying it in butter now, which I wouldn't do in the George Foreman. But I look at it as healthy fats, you know? So yeah, and it is pretty yummy when you fry bread. I have to admit, I kind of enjoy it. Okay, so that's been cooking for a couple of minutes now, and my battery's at 67%. So yeah, we've dropped about 5 or 6%. But the battery is dropping a lot slower now. It is starting to smoke a little bit. It looks pretty good on that side. Just going to move that butter around in there. Excuse my dodgy camera work. Okay, look at that, it's looking pretty good. So I will take that out, put a little bit more butter in there, and put the next piece in. I did originally have this set for 10 minutes, but I put the second piece of bread in, and the one side has not cooked fully yet, so I've just set it for another 4 minutes, and my battery's still only at 65%, so yeah, I think we'll probably use about 10% battery life for this. Okay, so that's about to go off. I'm going to cancel that so I don't get the beeping noises like that. So that second bit of bread's looking pretty good. I'll take that out, pop it down here. And there is my breakfast with my eggy bread French toast in the InstantPot pressure cooker. Let's give it a go. So what do we start off with? About 73%. I'm down to 64% now, so that's not too bad. I think that's probably about the same that my George Foreman would use. Maybe a little bit more, but let's give it a go. Ultimate taste test. I like to whack a bit of honey on there too. It's actually really good. It tastes more like French toast. My George Foreman, like, you wouldn't really notice the egg when you cook the bread in the George Foreman because it's very hard toast, very crunchy. Whereas this has got that softer but a slight crunch from the butter frying on the outside. So yeah, winning. I love it. So obviously the downside of cooking with stainless steel rather than the non-stick surfaces is that your pots will get dirtier and harder to clean. So you can, like, I don't use a scourer on it because I don't want to scratch the surface. So I just use a little bit of baking powder. I mean, I can sit there and just keep, you know, with the cloth, and it will eventually go away. But it just makes it like the bicarb soda is just, it's a little bit abrasive, but not as bad as the scourer. So I just put that directly on the surface of where the main dirt and grime is, and then I just use my cloth, and it works a treat. So you can see there, I've just put it right on that spot there, and then yeah, I just give it a bit of a rub, and you can see that it's already taking it away. The trick is to not actually have too much water in the pot, because you need the bicarb soda to actually like grab onto the grime. Yeah, but pretty good. So it's been a couple of weeks now since I started using the InstantPot, and I've got to tell you, it's an absolute winner. I haven't pulled out my rice cooker or my George Foreman grill once. So that rice meal that I cooked earlier in the video, the rice cooker would actually used to have taken up about 30% of my battery life. So versus the InstantPot, which was anywhere between, I think it was 10 or 12%. When I use the saute function, it's about the same percentage draw as my George Foreman grill. So I'm super stoked that I can now cook with stainless steel. I'm really excited to try and do a cake in it. Potentially some bread or scones would be amazing. So watch this space, and I am now ready to donate my rice cooker. I think I'll hold on to my George Foreman for a little bit longer, but yeah, happy days. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you haven't met me before, my name is Christy. I live, work and travel Australia in my van Gypsy. I am an artist, and my artwork is available as prints or on t-shirts and bags on my website. The link is in my bio.